Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unique Peace. I am Janice. I am a Reiki Master Teacher in Medium here on Long Island, New York. And today I am very excited to have Robin Jelinek, internationally known channeler of Athenea and Truth, on the show today to discuss peace with us. I am excited to hear what they have to tell us. Join me in welcoming Robin. Hi, Robin.
Hi, Janice. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. It's exciting. So, Robin, for those people who don't know, and give us a little bit of an introduction about yourself and how Athenea and Truth came into the picture.
Sure. Well, I've been a spiritual seeker my whole life, like many people probably that join your show have been. I started in my early 20s doing lots of reading and really looking for what's life all about? Do I know who I am after I've left this body, and all kinds of questions. I was always a question asker. And I think that's an important point to bring up because the universe is a question answerer. So
Yes.
The more questions you ask, the more likely you are to get those answers. So I didn't know that at the time. So I did a lot of reading during the time that we were running our business. We had a water well drilling business for 25 years. And I was raising 2 children at the time. And so I would say, from my early 20s all the way up till 40s when my kids left for college, mostly just doing a lot of reading just for the joy of learning and seeking, that kind of thing. And then in my early 40s, both my boys left for college, and that felt a lot like grief to me. I really enjoyed having my kids at home, and it was quite a change. I was still working in our then business that we owned together. And I started doing a little more practices. I'd started to dabble in breath work and read different books about meditation and things like that. And I had an experience, a Kundalini awakening. It's kind of a life-altering experience that once you have one, there's kind of no denying that you're more than the human that you thought you were. And that kind of really changed things for me to get that confirmation, even though I had read about a lot of those things. To really have the experience and embody that, it leaves you changed, and you don't really go back to your old way of thinking and being after something like that happens. And so then I spent the next 20 years researching about that, trying to learn more about what actually happened. What is Kundalini energy? What does it mean for me? And I recognized that, not all channels have a Kundalini awakening, but those that do often become channels. It's one of the things that seems to happen. And that's because your frequency increases, and so your spread rate, or your ability to spread very quickly, and your magnetism increases because of Kundalini energy. So it's one of the reasons that entities are interested in channeling through people who have had that experience. So now I find myself in a position where I actually do activations. I do Kundalini private session activations. I do group activations on my Athenea and Truth website. And I have a lot of other courses and things that I offer on there. And I used to wonder, why I had that experience the way that I did. It was kind of a spontaneous one, and it did come with some problems. I had the dark night of the soul, and had to navigate my way through a lot of uncomfortable things that happened after I got that Kundalini awakening. And so now I realize that for me, it was the right way because I can really help anybody anywhere that they are on the path with that energy. Mostly the people that I get are people who want to become channels themselves, people who want to be light workers. I call myself sometimes the activator of activators. That's what I find myself doing. So I do get some people that are new to the spiritual path, but I would say primarily the people that I see are either people that have had a Kundalini rising or are seeking one, are often those that end up on my doorstep.
Beautiful. That must be interesting because you can get all sorts of people that are new and different just along this journey.
Yeah.
And one of the questions I love to ask, with all of that has happened in your whole journey, how do you personally define peace after all of that?
Well, that's a really good question, because that's what I got after all of that I was seeking. And peace comes from knowing that there's a perfect plan in place, that there is no effort required in your experience, that what is required is compassion and surrender and love of yourself, which creates this very natural connection to a grander part of yourself. just by accepting yourself, just by loving yourself in all that you're feeling and living as a human, actually makes you very connected to the source part of you. And it is the part that does all the work for you. You become the person you want to. You achieve things that are very satisfying to you because you want to. And so that's how I would define peace. Through that connection, I have found it.
That is great. We all need to remember self-acceptance has come up a lot lately in the definition of peace. So that's beautiful that it's just continuing forward, especially in today's day and age. And what are some of the ways that you personally bring in peace to your life?
Well, I try to do a lot of things that I love, and I do love being in service. I love the way it makes me feel. Sometimes I have to remind myself to let others do things for me because it does feel good to do things for other people. And sometimes when you're a person that really does like to serve, you have a tendency to not want to be served. So that's something I've noticed about myself, and that once in a while I have to remind myself. I love spending time with my grandchildren, and I love looking at them with new eyes. Really, when I was a parent myself, you have so many responsibilities and things that you think you need to get done, and you can't really revel in the beauty and wonder of a little one. And so now I'm able to do that much more freely, and it's something that really brings me a lot of joy. I just really try to spend as much time as I can doing things that make me happy, not always holding. The group the other day was channeling to me, and they said, there are times when I'll have sessions with people who maybe when they were younger, they really thought they were going to be somebody. Maybe they were really excelling in school, or maybe they got some notoriety very early in life, and then they went on to be what they would call average. And the group said to me that, everybody's a nobody. Nobody is somebody. And so once you really get that understanding that, to be a somebody means that you're somehow separate, or you've become something that's acceptable, when really that's not expected. You're here to just really find something that you love to do and that makes you happy and satisfied. And that's your addition to the world. It's not about being impressive to someone else or turning out to be successful in something that you quote unquote thought you should be. It's really just about just surrendering to living a life that feels good to you, that's satisfying and makes you happy.
I love that. And that actually leads into the next question very nicely is how do you bring peace to others, or how do you help others find peace?
Yeah. Well, I try to locate where they're not feeling peace. So when someone comes into a session with me, we go through each area of their life, and very quickly areas of dissatisfaction will come up. And what I know from the work that I'm doing is if we're receiving full flow to all of our energy centers, which each one is representative of an area of our life, we're going to be satisfied in those areas. If there are things that are dissatisfying, it's because I'm holding on to something, some kind of energy that matches the dissatisfying experience that I think there's an outside cause for, but really there's only an inside cause. There's something that's gotten stuck or lodged in me from my life experience or my lineage, could come through lineage, that's still creative in my experience in a direction that doesn't feel good. So I primarily spend most of my time in activations and in sessions, making people understand that anything that they have felt or thought in their experience is not the wrong thing. Nothing is judgeable or condemnable, and to really love themselves and accept themselves in what they're feeling and look at it more as a signal, as a frequency in what they prefer to feel because of what they have felt. So I think that it's really satisfying for people to realize that there is a perfect system in place, that you don't need to police yourself. You don't need to effort in your experience. You just need to surrender and accept yourself to all the ways that you're feeling it. And then let that source part of you be the one that delivers to you what it is you prefer because of it.
And that is so key and so hard. I mean, we are spiritual beings having this physical experience, and surrender, especially if somebody falls into the thought process of I'm type A, or I'm a perfectionist, or I'm type B and I'm lazy, or they're in the thought process of I can't versus how can I.
Yeah.
It's
I
very
guess
hard.
the response that I get when that is presented by someone is, isn't it difficult to suffer? Isn't it most difficult to feel miserable and not satisfied in your experience rather than have it be difficult? Nobody's asking anyone to not feel what they felt. And I think that's the mistake that a lot of teachers maybe fall into, or people fall into. You are allowed to feel every stinking emotion that you pick to feel, but you have to be aware of it. You have to be awake and conscious that I am choosing this and I am using it as a frequency to create with, as opposed to I'm victimized. Someone's causing me to feel this way. They're creating in my experience. And that's what actually expands my negativity, and it expands my experience of negative experiences.
Wow, that's very insightful. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I would like to touch in with Athena and Truth with the same questions from a broad perspective of how we can define peace and how we can bring peace into our lives while sharing it with others and
Okay.
bringing it to others if they are open.
We are delighted to speak with you on any topic that would be satisfying. What is it that we could start with today? You want to ask us on how to create more peace? Is that the question?
Yes. How can we bring more peace into our personal lives?
It doesn't matter whether it is peace, whether it is anything that a human is wanting to feel. You must present that way of being or be that way in order to receive that way. So to be more peaceful, one must conduct themselves that way, don't they? In order to receive the flow of experiences that are actually going to satisfy you in feeling peaceful. Many humans think they are here to police others. They are here to tell others what to do. They are here to point their finger or condemn someone when they are littering, or they are racist, or there is anything that they are contributing to that they would think is not the right way to be. That is not the peaceful way to be, we would tell you. So you are to worry 100% about your own experience and being peaceful in it, and therefore be the adder of that to the plane as a whole, you see.
Yes. Yes, I do see. And when we don't feel peaceful, what are some of the ways where we can activate peace in ourselves so that we can expand that out into the
It's a good
current
question.
conscious?
It's a good question you have brought forward, because we want to delineate what the human is here to do. The human is the feeler of the experience, authentically and completely. Exactly what you feel is what you are here to do. Adjusting the feeling or trying to feel something is not what you are designed to do. Once you have felt your experience, you've been received by that feeling, and a preferred reality has been created that would flow right to you, provided you released the frequency of the lower tone that you created it in. And so there's never a time when a human needs to effort. There's never a time when you have to change something into something peaceful. You have to recognize you have created something peaceful, perhaps by not feeling peaceful, and then accept yourself in that free will choice, in that way of creation. You have to love yourself in all the ways that you are thinking and feeling in your experience that are creating a higher and better feeling experience for you. This is the quickest way and the best way for you to arrive at that result that you are asking for.
And when we do this, how can we help each other bring peace to one another?
Once again, you are not here to assist someone else and create in their experience. You are here to create in your own experience, and therefore set an example for others that they may choose to follow if they choose to. Anytime you try to implement a change or implement something in your thinking into someone else's thinking, you're going to enter into an oppositional place, or something that's going to create opposite of what you are wanting.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
All
How
boils down to you, doesn't it? All
yeah,
comes back to you being the example, you being the peaceful one, you not being the one that necessarily is changing anyone. The minute you notice something that needs changing, you are adding to the thing that needs to be changed.
so is it safe to consider that when we take care of ourselves and our own peace, we are sharing peace with others?
Absolutely. Yes, that is accurate.
And to be more of who we are and get into that good feeling, what would you suggest we do? Feel our feelings or work through them, or is it a combination of both?
There is no work to do as a human. The moment you have felt, you have been received. What kind of work can you do on a signal that's already been sent out into creation and already happened? We want you to accept yourself in your free will choice of whatever it is that you feel. This is how you will actually create the experience that you are wanting to feel. Rephrase the question once again so we can answer a little bit more clearly.
So if I'm working on me and I am peaceful, am I sharing peace with others?
Anything that you are emanating is being returned on to you individually and sovereignly, and it is being added to the whole. So yes, if you are being peaceful, you will have peaceful experiences that will be emanated back to you or mirrored back to you. If you feel anything that is not peaceful, then you would have emotional basis within you that would be active, that is creating that imbalance or not seeing the thing that you want to. It's important to understand that you are creating an individual and sovereign universe for yourself based upon where you focus, what it is that you appreciate, what it is that you like, what it is that you don't like. All of those things are being received by the divinity aspect of you, and they are culminating a higher version of you that is available to flow right through you, perhaps if you would let go of the frequency that you created in, which might be sometimes in a lower tone or what you would call a negative tone. So it is just a matter of you allowing, it's a matter of you surrendering and then allowing flow to reach you. There's no judgment, there's no condemnation, there's no one standing looking over you thinking that you should do it different or regretting or not liking something in the way that you have created it. There is this very unconditional and loving source part of you that is receiving you in everything that you are feeling and is creating opportunities, solutions to things that you are going to like the feel of for every problem that you are submitting to it in the way that you feel.
So when we are at the high vibe, focused on feeling good, that would be an indication of putting out good into the world, yes?
Yeah, but you can't feel good when you don't. That's the problem, or the $1,000,000 question that comes up now and then. We're talking about surrender. We're talking about having compassion for oneself in a difficult time, in an emotion that perhaps isn't feeling good. This pie in the sky that you're going to feel good all the time isn't really an accurate one. You are to feel authentically, completely, the way that you feel. You are allowed to choose any emotion to depict to the divinity partner that you have exactly what you prefer. And it might be an emotion that doesn't feel good. That doesn't mean that it is the wrong one or it is one that should be condemned or changed. It is very important that you are observing yourself and that you are awake and aware of what emotions you are using to create with, rather than blaming someone else for the way that you feel or thinking that there is a cause somehow that has made you feel a certain way. Every emotion that you are having is a chosen one. It's one that you have picked, and it might be in regard to something that you have seen in your life, a person, a circumstance, but they are only there because you already held an emotion that brought them to you. So it is for you to understand that you are the creator of all of it. You may as well be alone on this planet by yourself. Others are, of course, connecting up to you based upon what they are holding and the mirroring experiences to you that match you, but you are the creator of absolutely everything that you are getting in your experience.
So how does this connect with surrender?
Well, surrender means I can have a crappy feeling, can't I? I can feel hate. I can feel anger. I can feel jealousy, and I can be aware of it. I don't say I'm jealous because of that person doing something. Then I expand my jealousy and I get more mirrors that represent it. I say I am choosing. I am. That's the I am present. I am choosing jealousy to signal my divine counterpart in what I really prefer to feel in my experience, which maybe is trust, which maybe is knowing. That's what's been created by jealousy. So that you can see there are no bad emotions. There's no right and wrong, no good and bad, anything like that. There is a signal that you are using, that you are sending out in regard to what you prefer because of it.
And how would this help us find peace? I know you said we need to focus on ourselves in bringing the consciousness up to peace.
Is there any peace in thinking that you need to be better, that you need to change, that you need to police yourself, that you need to effort in your experience? How can any of those spiritual concepts bring you peace? That doesn't bring peace. That brings turmoil. That brings frustration. That brings disappointment. We want you to get peace through surrender. Surrender means I can feel anything. I can send out any signal in an emotion in the way that I feel. As long as I am aware that I am using it, I am the one that is using those emotions to create with. In that presence, in that I am presence, I elevate my consciousness. And the source part of me starts to flow through me. It is the one that changes you. It's the one that dissipates the energy that perhaps is creating in a lower tone and not peaceful anyway. So you're not doing it as a human. You're not capable of doing it. All you're capable of doing is emitting a feeling based upon what you're experiencing. Once you've done that, you're done. Once you surrender to that understanding, then the source part of you will meet you. It will start to flow through you, regardless of what you have felt, and lift you to a level of consciousness where you have new choices available, where there is no anger, where there is no jealousy, where there is no not peace. There is only peace and harmony at the higher levels of consciousness. But you don't get there through effort as a human. You get there to be lifted by the divinity partner that you have, you see. And the only way you can make that happen is to surrender the way that you're presently doing it, which might be in a little bit of suffering. But that's okay. Doesn't mean you're going to stay there. It means that you have surrendered to your free will choice to pick and choose how you feel in your experience. And therefore, you're going to be carried in that love and acceptance of yourself. You will become a match to the unconditional love of your source, which will carry you to the higher level of consciousness of where all that peace is that you're looking for.
Please define divinity partner.
Divinity partner is the part of you, the individual spark, if you will, of the divine that you are, that is eternal, that has lived many lifetimes and has culminated a large amount of data and information in what it is that you prefer in your experience.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Are there any pearls of wisdom that we should be aware of when we are in self-acceptance?
The biggest pearl of wisdom that we could give you is that you are free. Have any of you contemplated what freedom is, what free will is? You are allowed. You are free to choose how you feel in your experience. And you are choosing based upon many lifetimes and lineages that you have been a part of, that you have no recollection of. Why should you judge or condemn anything about yourself or another when you do not even have the data or the basis behind what is making them draw the conclusions that they are drawing? The best thing that you can do is to surrender, is to love and to accept how others are creating in their experience and how you are creating in your experience. If you move to that level of love, you will only see things at a higher frequency. It doesn't mean that there won't be things in the world that are existing, but they will not be coming to you on a regular basis. The TV will be playing a different station, and so will the radio, and so will the people that you run into contact with. The frequency that you hold is what you will encounter in your experience when you move to this level of understanding and this way of accepting life, that you are the creator of it. Whatever your frequency is that you hold is what you will be tuning into. Why do you continue to insist that there are lower frequencies? Of course there are. They're tuned into them. And when you tune into them, you see them too. Why not create the frequency that you wish to see in your life and reside in that? You have that choice. You have that freedom, that free will, you see. That's what free will is.
Thank you. That is a very interesting and new way to consider free will and think of free will, and I am grateful. Thank you.
How were you considering it? We are interested to know.
Free will as in it was given to us by another entity, such as God, the universe, what have you, and that it's more of a gift and it's more of, it's a gift bestowed upon us versus a birthright. So your definition is more of a birthright.
So would you think that some humans do not have free will and others do?
No, I feel that some
How is it a gift then? How is it not given to everyone? Do you know any human that doesn't have a choice?
Yes, but they are prisoners of their own device.
They have a choice. Yeah.
They have a choice.
Yeah. And they've chosen prison, haven't they?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And so the perspective hopefully will reach many that it is very much our own choices that make our
the understanding of sovereignty is an important one. It's one that when you're suffering, you don't really like it so much because you are being made accountable for your own suffering. Why does a human suffer? They suffer because they think they can't have, do, or be something that they want to. But the reason they're suffering isn't because that's true. It's because their perception or belief is creating a separation in their own universe because they've already become everything that they want to be. They're already capable of doing everything that they want to do. So the universal part of them, or the expanded version of them, or the God source of them, or that thing that you asked what it was, has already created by what they have felt, what they want to feel. And when they think that they're not going to get it, the miserable feeling that they feel is the separation between themselves that is occurring. It's not because it isn't true. It's not because it isn't available to them. It's because they are holding a perception or belief that denies its entrance, that does not match its source's love for them. That's why they suffer, you see.
Do you feel we should be held accountable for our suffering?
Nobody's accountable. Suffering is a choice that happens in a perception or belief that you can't have, be, or do something. So you would choose to suffer because you would think you're not smart enough to get a degree. You would choose to suffer because you think there's no good men in the world and you have to be alone because of that. You would choose to suffer because you would gather some type of a negativity within yourself based upon past lives or experiences that you've had in this life or other lives that would actually create mirrors that would not be to your liking. But that does not mean that the reality that you prefer to see doesn't exist. But you cannot meet that reality in holding the lower frequency that you created it in, which was a little bit of suffering. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to start where you are, don't you? You have to start
Yes.
accepting and loving yourself where you are. You can't condemn and judge yourself where you are and get something different. You have to look at, I am here right now. I am jealous. I am angry. I am frustrated. I am all these things that I am feeling and I am creating with them. When I claim them in my power, I become connective. I become attached to the flow. And there's a gradual rise in consciousness that starts to unfold within me. And pretty soon, very gradually, it's a gradual process, I start to notice my perceptions and feelings and the way that I thought about things begin to shift and change in a more positive direction. But I'm not doing it. I'm allowing it through the surrender to myself in the love of my free will choice of where I am right now.
That is beautiful advice that we all need. And thank you for sharing that with us.
Mm-hmm.
My final question would be authenticity. When we are standing in our power and we are in our flow, I feel that we're at our highest authenticity. Yes or no?
It depends. Some people, they are pretending. They are pretending to be righteous. They are pretending to say and do the right things, but they're not necessarily feeling them. Authenticity is the understanding of what you yourself have within you that you cannot hide from, that is painted on your skin, connected to the universal part of you. So any type of a pretending or any type of a feeling of grandeur or being a certain way is a better way, that would create some inauthenticity because the realness of you, the essence of you is felt by the divine and it is felt non-judgmentally. So it is not condemning or judging in any way. There is nothing to hide. There's nothing about you that's shameable, blamable, or not worth showing. Let's use that term. So the idea that a human has to be perfect is a ridiculous one. And once you can adopt that understanding that there is no need for you to be perfect, there is no need for you to effort in your experience. There's a need for you to notice or to accept what it is that your life has called out of you in the way that you feel in it. And then in that accepting and in that surrender to being a human, you inadvertently connect to the source part of yourself who then carries you up to a higher level of consciousness. So that's how we would answer that question. Authenticity is your natural state. It's not a perfect state. It's your natural state.
Thank you. I love that. That confirms so much for me, and I hope many others watching today. For me, authenticity is the genuineness of who I am, the good, the bad, the everything in between.
Yes, all of it.
Yes. Now I would like to speak to Robin again and ask her a few additional questions.
Sure, I'm back.
How are you?
Good.
So I always love to ask the question, what's in your toolbox? And for me, I usually give this a real world scenario. So if someone's coming to you and they want an activation, but at the same time, they're like really stressed and he's like, okay, we need to calm down. What is your quick go-to to bring someone peace before you start that? Or even your grandchildren, they're like running around and it's like, okay, we got to get ready to go. And having, my son is 18 now, but when they're little and it's like herding cats, how would you get someone in a peaceful state to get them going?
Yeah. Well, it's to recognize when someone's stimulated, they're not conscious. And so if I would have a client that would be very emotionally upset, they've left the present moment. So there's no reason for me to try to deliver anything to them until I can get them back into the present moment. One of the things that I teach in sessions and in activations is that when you leave the present moment, you're going to a painful moment. That's what's actually happening. So a negativity is a call to heal. It's not something to be gotten rid of. It's not something to condemn or judge. I've just been stimulated in a way that doesn't feel good. And so I've left this moment, my present moment, and I've actually been called to the timeline or a place where that wound actually occurred, and I have an opportunity to heal it. In every moment, the universe is trying to approach you, to flow experiences to you that will satisfy you by everything that you've ever felt. As it approaches your field, it picks up on what you're holding that either matches or not, or doesn't match. So then if it doesn't match, you get stimulated. That's the feeling that you get. The mirror that you get is a stimulation of your own negativity that you're holding that's denying the higher level of experiences from reaching you. And so the universe loves you. It's not trying to punish you. It's not trying to karmically make you suffer. It's trying to make you aware, hey, I'm trying to bring you the good stuff, and where you're vibrating right now is not a match to me. So I'm going to pull away from you. I'm going to send you more suffering experiences that make you feel that way, so that you notice the energy that you're carrying that's creative in your experience. And once you start to recognize it and love it in yourself and accept it in yourself, I can flow through you, and I can start bringing the experiences that you will really like to have, that you would love. So there's never a time when someone's feeling something that it should be gotten rid of, or it's the wrong thing. Normally with my grandchildren or a client, I can say, I can see you feel this way. I can feel you feeling this way. I'll confirm that they've left the present moment. And just in that love, in that confirmation of what they're feeling and allowing it to be felt, they immediately come back into the presence. They come back into the present moment. You try to deny that moment, you try to tell them to get rid of it, or it's not valid, or it's the wrong emotion, you're going to expand the energy and you're not going to get anywhere. So that would be the tool that I have in my toolbox that I use. And I also get the benefit of the group that I channel. When I slide into a session, it's just like I put the jacket on that belongs to the person that I'm sitting with. So I know where they're coming from. I know exactly what they're feeling. I'm really able to empathize with them in their life. I understand why they are drawing the conclusions that they are in the way that they're feeling. And I'm in no way trying to take that away or condemn it. So I think that really connective, loving place that we get to is very beneficial.
And to build on that for a quick second, what if somebody gets caught in a loop?
Well, what do you mean by caught in a loop? So,
They're replaying it. You bring them back to the present. They're
Yeah.
fine. They leave you, and then they replay it, and then you see them again, and it's like that loop.
I'm really proud to say that, and I have a number of clients that I have seen a number of times. Not a lot, because my sessions are very effective at removing entrapments. And it's a good news to me if I never see you again, honestly. It's not something that I'm hoping to have to repeat over and over again. I feel like people are left changed by it. There is a lasting impact. Recently, I began speaking light language, which is another tool that I now have in my toolbox that's really a stimulation to people's field and really helps them through that high vibration that it comes through at. Sometimes they meet themselves in their own light language. Some start speaking their own light language. So there's a number of things that I employ during sessions that I feel the frequency that they allow, or that comes through them, gets rid of or releases a lot of things that they've not been able to maybe let go of in the past.
And to build on that one more time, adolescence sucks. We are very aware of this. Being one and having kids go through it. And this is a bit of a selfish question, as I do have an 18-year-old and we're still working through adolescence. And there are times where you can just see it on their face, that there's that pain in the present moment. And at the same time, they've gone somewhere in the future or they've gone somewhere in the past on the timeline. What advice would you give to parents, especially in that adolescent range,
Yeah.
that could help us bring them back to present and kind of guide them to make not the right decision, but the decision to be here in this moment and work through it?
So once again, we're making an outside cause be the responsible thing for maybe what the parent is feeling in the exchange. And there just isn't one. And that includes parenting. So whatever is coming to you in the exchanges you're having with your children is stimulating you in an emotion that you're being called to heal. When you start to do that healing on yourself and stop making them the cause of it, even though, I could give you a number of descriptions. My husband's a snorer. I swear to God, I thought he was responsible for my frustration, my lack of sleep, and my irritation. Until one night when he was snoring, I happened to claim it and said, I am irritated. I am frustrated. And I am tired of the snoring. And this had been going on for years. And in that moment, I felt that energy just dissipate. I thought, well, this is ridiculous. I have a man snoring next to me and I'm saying he's not the cause. And I'm saying right now, he was not the cause of those particular emotions that I was feeling in regard to it. Once I claimed it in my power as I am feeling these things, I got up the next morning and the solution arrived in my inbox. There was a triangular pillow for snorers. I bought it. He's never snored another night. Now, this was going on for years. So what really happened there? I released my emotions that I felt in regard to what I thought was the cause, and the universe flowed me the solution. And I would tell parents the same thing. You heal the emotions in you that are stimulated, and the universe will flow you a solution. That's what will actually happen. And you will go into a more harmonious exchange, or you will recognize things within yourself that you had been employing that maybe you were going too hard at or didn't need to do. But there would be something that would come across from the universe in a multitude of ways. Could come through a friend, could come through an email, could come through some kind of an ad that you hear that just makes you wake up and realize, oh, I've been doing that. That's probably not the right thing to do. But you will receive a solution when you release the resistance that you have against receiving your own emotional responses to it.
Okay. That is great advice and something we will all take with us as we move forward. And I'm grateful for that advice. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Is there anything else you would like to share about peace in your life and how far you've come?
Well, what I'm really like mesmerized by and very satisfied in is, and I think a lot of people who've been on a spiritual path for a long time might be able to relate to this. It's almost like you go full circle. It's like you set out thinking you're going somewhere and all of a sudden you come back to where you were, but you're just happy there. You've just decided, hey, this is who I am. I'm okay with it. There's like a surrender or a release that comes and a living of life that just feels, as you said, peaceful, feels very good to you. But what you realize is on this journey of looking and of searching outside of yourself, that when it finally makes its full ascent, it comes right back to you, accepting yourself just the way that you are in all that you've felt and the way that you've lived. And that is a very peaceful place to be. It's very satisfying to have that happen, to realize that there was never anything to do. There was never anywhere to get. There was never anywhere to be. There was just this surrender and this acceptance that I had to reach through this way that I chose to do it. And that's why I tell people, when I have sessions with them, for sure, go with what you're called to do. You might be called to do some breath work. You might be called to meditate. I'm not going to tell you to do it. I'm not going to say that's the way to do it. I'm going to say, honor yourself in what it is that you're in this circle of this journey that's going to lead you exactly to where you want to go. You have to pick up the breadcrumbs. You have to follow the things that are resonant to you and honor yourself in that way. And then you will reach that destination that you're wanting to get to.
Thank you so much, Robin. I am so grateful for you being here today with us and talking peace. And I am thankful to Athenea and Truth for coming through and discussing peace with us today as well.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I'm going to stick you in the green room and I'll be right back.
Okay.
So I hope everyone enjoyed that as much as I did. And I want to thank you all for joining us today. And join us again next week for another guest on unique peace in discovering new ways to bring it into our lives. Have a great day.